Hi everyone, I'm going to talk to you today about ostriches. Ostriches are a flightless bird that lives on land, and it's actually the fastest bird on land. So running, it's the fastest bird running, not in the air. It's also known for its feathers. Its feathers are known for display and for different things. It also lays the largest egg of any animal on land. There's a whale that lays one that's larger in the sea, but the largest eggs it lays on land. But what ostriches are most known for are burying their head in the sand. And so I was going to use an analogy just about burying your head in the sand and having a lot of money, maybe sitting in cash. And so right now, there's lots of money on the sidelines, I call it. People are sitting on deposits, and maybe it's from a GIC that came due and you don't like the renewal rate, so you're just leaving in a savings account trying to figure out what to do. Or maybe your business did really well last year and you've got a whole bunch of money in your holding company and you're trying to figure out, what's the best approach to take with it. Maybe you just recently sold a house, or you downsized, or you sold a piece of property, or even your business, and now you've got this money and you're sitting on it and you're trying to figure out, hey, what's the best strategy? What should I be doing with it? Or maybe you inherited some money, a relative, your parents have passed away, they've left you some money and you've got it, and now you've got to get a game plan in place. And it's tough right now because interest rates are really low. And so you look at the rates and say, oh, that doesn't really get me excited to put it into a GIC at 0.5%, 1%, something like that. And then you look at the stock market and it's near all-time highs or at all-time highs. And you go, well, is there any value there? Like, what should I be doing? And so it's easy just to bury our head in the sand, right? We're just gonna leave it. We're just not gonna think about it. The problem is, it's okay to do that for a little while, but burying your head in the sand is a short-term plan that actually ends up turning into a long-term plan for a lot of folks. The money sits there for 6 months, a year, 2 years, and no progress has been made. So what do we do? So what I do with clients is get them to think, okay, so what is our long-term plan? What are we gonna do with this? And we want to retire. We want to create a wealth for our kids. Okay, well, putting in a savings account is not gonna get there. Let's get a plan in place. Another strategy that works really well is dollar cost averaging into the market. So yeah, maybe the market is really high right now. Is it gonna go higher? Is it gonna drop? Are we gonna wait for a big drop? No, you know what? Let's just put it in slowly over time, and that way we're not trying to predict what's gonna happen. And if things go down, that's great. If they keep on going up, at least some of our money was invested. So those are a couple of my suggestions if you are sitting on some cash and trying to figure out what to do. I've got a great quote from you. It's from Tony Robbins, and I love Tony Robbins. He's a coach, and so he says people often underestimate what they're going to do in the long term, and so they often overestimate what they're going to do in the short term. And so what do I mean by that? It's like, well, in 1 year I'm going to lose all this weight, I'm going to get a new job, I'm going to do all this stuff. It's like, well, that's a lot to happen in 1 year. But in 10 years, a lot can change. And I look back at my life 10 years ago, so much has changed, so much better place. And it's amazing what's happened over time. And that's kind of like investing in the stock market. We overestimate what could happen in 1 year, the negative side oftentimes, but we underestimate where the stock market will be in 10 years. So keep that in mind, keep that thought in mind when you're setting some goals. Like don't overdo it on the short-term goals and then underdo it on the long-term goals. If you're a client and are listening to this and you really enjoyed it, please share it with a family, friend, or neighbor. And if you're not a client and you'd like to sit down with me and hear more of our strategies, please connect with me.